Let's talk about how to actually nail high quality remote video production. Let's say you are trying to really do excellent podcasting and you want to really pinpoint the video production, especially on a remote basis. So I'm going to give you a few pro tips that can really help you convert real fast. So here's an overview I want you to pay attention to. So remote video production gives you the freedom to capture a content off location. And this is kind of important if you're a podcaster, you want to be able to have that sort of capability. And so it's important to understand that, you are able to record a video remotely. This means what? It means recording using a remote video recording software tool that allows you to record with guests that are based in a different location or different locations. Okay. And so you got to really decide whether you want to go with hybrid or remote production. So if you're looking to remote video production, chances are you've come across hybrid production too. So here's a brief explanation of the difference. So hybrid production mixes elements of in-person and remote recording. So you might have some guests in studio and others remotely, or have a production team that works on a remote basis while you record everything in a stand-up studio setup. And so basically, essentially, hybrid can mean whatever you want it to be. And so remote production, in contrast, actually refers to video production that's basically carried out on a completely remote basis, meaning everyone involved participates from a separate physical location. So let's say, for instance, you are in New York right now, and you want to have a remote production. So you're going to have folks in Dallas, you're going to have folks in Chicago, you're going to have folks in LA, you're going to have folks in whatever place. Like, you want to have places in several places, okay? And so this is for remote production. If I were to contrast that with hybrid production, that means that you are in New York, right? And so you are basically doing stuff in New York, but you also have folks in different locations. So the difference here is that for remote, all those folks in different locations, different geographies, they are contributing simultaneously to make sure the production happens. For hybrid production, you are basically doing something in studio and something outside the studio. So this is the main differences here. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. Make yourself comfortable. You are going to enjoy today's conversation. So when we talk about remote video recording, it's important to really understand the benefits of that process, because it is really beneficial, and not only for connoisseurs, let's say experienced podcasters, but also newbies. So you have professional quality. So since you can record 4K video remotely, it's now possible to achieve professional results without a standard studio setup. It's very easy. So you have remote video recording is easy and stress-free. So there are far fewer moving parts to coordinate, fewer costs to cover, and you still maintain a granular level of control over production from whatever you are. You are able to include remote participants. This is kind of cool in terms of helping you with exposure, broaden your audience. So remote video production means that you can include guests from anywhere in the world. Think about it. You are in New York, and somebody from Jakarta or somebody from South Africa can really log in, can really participate. This is really fantastic. This is an undeniable advantage. Even if you want to record with someone in a totally different time zone, it is completely achievable with remote video software. And it is cost effective. So really, there's no doubt that video recording is a cost effective way of producing videos. And you don't need to factor in travel cost, whether that's for your production crew or guest participants. And you also do not need to account for a studio rental cost. Even when you consider remote video recording, let's say software and equipment, that's still far more budget friendly. It is flexible and adaptable. So compared to traditional video production setups, video production remotely is far more agile and flexible. You can actually record on the go since you're not fixed to a physical location, and rescheduling will not be a big deal. It is also accessible, so this is another huge advantage. So anyone and everyone can try their hand at it. You don't need to be an experienced or well-established industry professional. If you want to start recording remote videos or podcasts, you can. There is no learning curve, and there is very little cost associated with remote video production. The last thing you want to pay attention to, I think I've said this before, is the scalability. So it is scalable. Since everything is done remotely and online, it is possible to amp up your production. you could theoretically produce more content in shorter amounts of time because there are fewer budgetary constraints and the fact that there is no need to move between locations. Fantastic. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about how to nail high quality remote video production. Let's talk about the equipment here. So when you think about remote video production kit, what equipment do you really need? Now, you do not necessarily need much more than your computer or phone and remote video production software to record a high quality remote video, right? However, if you're looking to optimize your remote video production kit to maximize your production quality, here is what you will really need. First of all, you got to think about remote video production software. So you'll need to choose a remote video production software that allows you to record high quality remote video easily. And ideally, you want to actually have a platform like you can go with Podbean, you can go with Riverside, you can go with Transistors FM. You can go to, there are a lot of players in this industry, okay? And so you want a platform that is totally browser based, defaults to HD quality, has a mobile app, and is very easy to use. Also, think about the microphone. So really, although you can go ahead and record with your desktop or mobile's inbuilt mic, if you want to optimize your audio quality, which your audience will thank you for, it's also a great idea to invest in an external mic. You can find mics for every budget that will make a huge difference to your remote video production. So it's definitely worth taking the time to look for one that matches your setup, not just your setup, but also your budget, right? Because it's one of those things where, you can find mics that cost $1,000. Even $10,000. So this is really important. So when we talk about the quality or even the equipment of your remote video production, you want to think about the camera. So sticking with your camera or mobile's camera can still make for a great quality recording. However, if you have the budget, opting for a DSLR camcorder or webcam can make a substantial difference to the quality of your remote video. Again, we are speaking here about the satisfaction of the audience, right? So you're doing everything for your audience. You're doing everything for your listeners. So even if you like a certain category, a certain brand of camera, if you can actually go a little up in pricing, that your audience will really thank you for it. Let's talk a little bit about software here. So when we talk about remote video production software, what should you really choose? Now, the thing is that your choice of remote video production software can really impact your overall experience. And so you want to pay attention to things like producer mode, for instance. You want to look at the up to 4K quality, local recording, inbuilt editor, and affordability. Those things will help you in the long run, making sure that you get the software tool that you really need for your show, right? So let's first talk about producer mode. So just because you're recording remotely doesn't mean your video crew cannot get involved. So you can use producer mode to give your crew control without impacting your audio or video recording. Just make sure that the software that you choose actually gives you that capability. Also, you want to prioritize up to 4K quality. So you do not want to lose out on quality. You can record video in up to 4K resolution, and you can screen record at up to a 1080p HD resolution. And what about local recording? Well, one of the biggest pitfalls of recording remotely can be dodgy internet connection. Luckily, you can actually get software that doesn't rely on Wi-Fi to record high quality video. So you can actually get software that uses local recording, which means that everything is captured directly on your device, ensuring that your video in the end is always at its maximum quality, even if your internet is playing up. Okay. You also want to pay attention to an inbuilt editor. So you want to streamline the post-production process so you can get your video publication ready in no time. This is really important, especially if you have a series of podcast episodes that you want to really schedule. You got to have an inbuilt editor that really does the work seamlessly. And also, finally, you want to think about affordability. So you can use you can use the software you want to use. You want to choose a software that allows you to use it for free. I mean, not you can have a free trial. You can have the free version, just sort of so you actually can see how the software works before you actually pay for the premium version. Okay, so if you pay the premium version, of course you have access to more features, but you always want to start with the free version. This will be very, very helpful. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about how to nail high quality remote video production. I want to give you the steps you need to follow to really capture high quality remote video recordings. And it's important that you understand that when we talk about podcasting and when we talk about podcasting versus video recording, it's important to understand it's not an exact science. Things change all the time. You got to really deal with psychology, things with geography. You got to deal with technology. So it is not an exact science. And but in today's conversation, I'll give you a few of our top tips for professional grade remote video production. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is to really plan carefully. I mean, everything starts with planning. Take the time to prepare and thoroughly plan your remote video so that you are making sure that everything runs smoothly on D-Day. Planning means what? You got to think about the idea, think about the questions, think about the script, think about the topic, think about the what if, the what ifs. And so in other words, you got to have a plan B. So it doesn't really help just to have a plan A. You got to have a plan B, plan C, plan D, and even more, depending on the size of your production. You should have a rough idea of the flow of your recording, as well as what types of topics or themes you want to cover. You got to have this rough idea, okay? This will help you to avoid awkward silences or prolonged recording sessions, which you do not want anyway. And audiences hate that. So the second thing you want to do is you need to brief your participants. So you want to properly brief your guests. This means what? Means walking them through what they're expected to do, as well as how to use your remote recording software. So you should also take this opportunity to advise them about the best recording practices, such as what type of environment they should join their recording from. I mean, you do not want to have a guest joining your recording from their kitchen or from their basement or from their children playground. So those things, I mean, they might seem like logical to you, but listen, you never know. You never know how guests will react, how guests look at things. People are different. So it's just a lot better to let people know in advance how you roll and how you want to organize your recording. So the more planning, the more preparation, the more communication you actually instill into this whole process, the better it will be for you in the end. Another thing you want to do if you want to really nail high quality remote video production is to optimize your remote video kit. So, and it's really important to understand that when we talk about the remote video kit, you can have a remote video kit that costs $100, or you can have one that costs $10,000. It's all about the capabilities you want to have in the kit. It's all about the vision that you have. It's all about, most importantly, the scalability process you want to take at some point. So, and of course, it's also all about the budget you have, right? So if you have the budget, it's always a great idea to think about kitting yourself out with some dedicated remote video production equipment. So even with a small investment, you are likely to see huge improvements in the overall quality of your production, right? Again, it's all about thinking about adding value to your audience members, so your listeners, okay? So because see, when you actually produce when you have a video production, or when you have an audio production, or when you have a podcast, it's very easy to get lost in all the details and say, you know what? It has to get done. We have to upload the podcast. We have to upload the episodes, blah, 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 blah. But what about the listener? What about the end user? Okay. So what is the quality of the audio? What is the quality of the video? What is the quality of what was the overall quality of the podcast episodes? What about SEO? So you got to think about all those things. And sometimes you can do things after the fact, but if the product itself is crappy, you are wasting your time. And this is where having excellent video production equipment can help you avoid having crappy products in the first place. So optimize your remote video kit and also choose a good remote video production software. Okay, so choosing a reliable remote video production software can make a huge difference to the overall quality of your video. And the thing is that you want to find software that is specifically designed for high quality remote recording and won't leave you at the mercy of internet connection. Really important. Internet connection is comes and goes, right? It is it is a fact we can't do anything about. Either you have it or you don't have it, but you cannot actually let internet connection really trigger or drive your whole production here. Let me give you a bonus here. If you have been listening for the last 15 minutes, I want to reward you with some extra content. It's important to understand that you are able to record remotely using all kinds of tools. Okay, so you do not need to have necessarily a specific tool or a sophisticated tool to record remotely. You know, you are able to use your phone. You're able to use all kinds of functionalities to actually remote, not a problem. So you can also invite your remote participants, hit records, and basically the software or the tool that you have will automatically capture you and your guest. And we're speaking about 4K quality. Okay, so but if you have software, that's a lot better. And so to actually create a remote video production, you have to really understand the size of your team and how your team collaborates with each other, and also understand whether or not your team members, your crew members, if you will, they are pretty conversant, they're pretty cognizant when it comes to a video production software. Because the last thing you want is to actually have software that is fantastic, that's really excellent, but your crew members, they have no idea how to use it. They have no idea how to schedule everything, how to structure things to actually make sure the whole video production process works fantastically. The same process, the same piece of advice applies to like when you're dealing with guests. You still want to make sure the guests are pretty conversant, they're pretty cognizant when it comes to a video production software. They really understand the play that you like. They really understand and embrace your vision, and they're willing to play along. Because you got to have a guest who actually cooperate with you, who collaborate with you, and so that will really help you in the long run. So overall, think about budgeting, think about logistics, think about technology, but most importantly, you got to think about your own vision. Your vision is the criterion that drives the whole video production process. Okay, your vision in terms of quality, your vision in terms of consistency, your vision in terms of tone, your vision in terms of angle, like a editorial angle that you want to cover on a specific topic, for instance. Your vision will drive the whole process. And so once you set the vision, you have to choose whether or not you have the budget, or you want to allocate sufficient budget to make sure that your vision becomes reality. Because the vision is not going to become reality if you do not actually, at least allocate the necessary resources to it, especially when it comes to the editing equipment, software, and hardware. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just talking to you about how to nail high quality video, like remote video production. So I give you the overview. I spoke a little bit about the equipment, the software, and the steps you need to follow. And finally, I give you a bonus. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll speak to you another time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.